You're listening to The Middle Age Gamers from Dimension X.
Welcome to MAGDX Season 2, Episode 1. We're back after a week hiatus. 1 week hiatus.
Yeah.
I am GI Gamer 1981. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And this sexy author over here, graphic artist, designer, makes all kinds of amazing things for premium edition games. Tristan Ibarra, and he has a sweet mustache. I hope it goes out to that biker one that we had a picture of last week.
Oh man, that thing, that's what I'm like striving for right there. I need a leather hat though.
For sure. If it gets
a lot of
growth,
leather apparently.
If it gets that growth, I'm buying it for it. It's a Harley Davidson shop right down the street.
If it gets that growth, I'm getting some assless chaps.
Yes. Go to Ben's Game Zone and be like, I would like this game.
Do you have any games that are good for leather work?
Can I hold this in my cheeks while I keep looking? Why does it smell like pineapple pizza? What's going on here?
Sir, you're leaving grease all over the floor.
Why is there so much hair on this game? What is going on here? What's up, everybody? What do you got going on this week, sir?
Oh, man. Let's see. Well, since the Kickstarter wrapped up, I don't have the total numbers. It was almost $17,000 raised, which is awesome. We're going to be able to buy a lot of books with that, so I'm pretty excited. Now it comes down to, I got to finish the book. So that's kind of what I was doing the last few days. I was working on the Nintendo DS library, actually, specifically. And this thing right here, if you Google search a Nintendo DS US release library, you're not going to find much. What you will find is a whole bunch of conflicting information. So, when it comes to my book, I don't take any one source anyway, so, I had to combine and verify and do all this other stuff, and it took me 4 days. But now I have a complete list of every single US Nintendo DS game that I can use for my book back in the index, and start compiling all of the images as well.
Did you talk to Captain Varian at all? Just in case,
No, I don't do variants.
Okay,
no variants.
You're taking the V out of this book.
No. Well,
yeah.
Not. I say no variants, but there are some cases where I do variants.
Okay.
Where I feel like it.
So what's after DS that you have to do next?
Oh gosh, where's my list? Hold on. I've got it right here. Let's see. DS, I have to finish up 3DS, Game Boy Advance, Wii, 360, PS2. I mean, there's like a handful. It's going to take me some time.
Though. Wii is pretty big, and so is PS2. I can't even imagine.
PS2 is huge. PS2 is not actually like the one that I just knocked out. The DS is the biggest library that I had left. It comes in at 1,792 games.
Who does that? Like I know we got our guy at Ben's Game Zone. Ben is a big collector, but where would you put 1,700 games together? That's insane.
Yeah, it'd be an impressive collection for sure. And there were, of course, there's a ton of them that I never even knew about going through this library, which is kind of a cool side effect of doing all this research. Like, I keep learning, things every single time I look through these libraries. Like, oh, I didn't know that was a game.
I think
I
we need
need
to
that
tell
game.
Ben too. By the way, if he gets all 1,700, we have to get him like a PlayStation 2 piped, so when he has to have conversations with people, he like lights it up and it makes the intro sound of the PS2.
Yeah. He probably already has one, to be honest.
I
That
think the
guy's got
only
a
one
lot of
I'll ever
PS2 merch.
have after 3D Tetris will be a Virtual Boy set. I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
closest to a complete set I'll ever have. I mean, I have a lot of Nintendo. Don't get me wrong, but like trying to chase the holy rollers at the end of that, there's no way. I mean,
Nah,
I
yeah,
have enough.
seriously. It's
It's tough.
I've got mad respect for anyone who does that, but I cry for your wallet, and your wallet's probably crying for you.
But
Um,
also, it's also too like most of them are like shovelware games anyway, or
mm-hmm.
games you don't even like. So like, why would you do that? Like, I don't
Oh
get
yeah,
it.
dude. Yeah, I mean, especially on the Wii and the Nintendo DS, anything with a really big install base has a whole lot of shovelware. So you run into like oh gosh, let me just open up a section of this Nintendo DS thing. It was like my. It starts with my.
Your pets were my pets.
Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. You have Imagine Animal Doctor, Imagine Artist, Imagine Babies, Babysitters, Babies Fashion, Ballet Star, Boutique Owner, Cheerleader, Detect. I mean, it goes on and on. It's crazy. It's
Yeah, trying to get those
insane.
girls in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I told you, like with the Nintendo dogs, they use that. A lot of the parents were using it to teach their kids how to properly handle a puppy, having responsibility and stuff. It's kind
Yeah.
of my joke. It's like Tamagotchi. You know what I mean? We had as kids in the '90s. But I would kill mine. I'm just gonna let you guys know
Oh,
I am a terrible parent.
so on that same subject, it's actually funny. We didn't get it over here, but there's a game in Europe. It's like it's about handling venomous snakes. So yeah. So like, is that like a
Rhino Hunter.
precursor to you owning a venomous snake? Is that what the point of that is?
I
Like,
don't know.
what?
It's a lot of weird stuff. Like people like probably like put money behind it, and they're just trying to sell. Like, dude, listen, I know you guys like snakes, and I'm gonna make a game based on snakes. You know,
Yeah, and
it might not make it.
it's crazy to wrap my head around, because like I'm going through this list, and it took me 4 days to compile a list of 1,792 games. But how many man hours is that to actually make that many games? I mean, you have like all these people actually making the shovelware, which is just it blows my mind. Like people actually
I
sat down at an office at a computer and made these games.
Here's my thing too. Like, there should be an official person, not only a historian for these game companies, but like a person that's basically tracking all these things to put it online. So you know exactly how many you're supposed to have. This is the official list from our company, like say like Nintendo. This is our official list from Nintendo, what games we have. Even if they're like download or whatever, you know what I mean?
Well,
You have that
yeah,
list.
but then they're all about money, so it's just like fire and forget. They don't care after it's out. They don't
They're
care.
only hurting themselves though because that's your history. Like
Yeah.
they can literally open their own museum if they wanted to. Like to be
Hmm.
honest with it, and have a curator in there doing these things.
But I mean, that's what's so important about the Video Game History Foundation, which full honesty, I wish I was a part of, and I should be a part of it. As much research and care as I put into this, but they have their own team and whatever. They're awesome. But I would love to be a part of what they're doing
They
because
should
that's
use your
that's kind of what they're
books.
doing.
They should use your books. Have them as guides on top of where the consoles are and show
Yeah.
them off.
Mm.
You guys out there, if you hear this, you should definitely hook this guy up over here.
Yeah.
But
It'd just be fun to work with them.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I haven't been there, but I want to go there for sure. It's one of my to-do lists for sure.
Hmm.
Once I calm the work stuff down. But yeah, uh, me, I don't know. Like we're going on a trip Friday. We're going to South Dakota. And by the way, South Dakota, where's your video game stores? How can I go to a new place and I can't even hunt? All I hear in there is like national parks and stuff. That's not what I want. I want to stop and hope we find some other things. Thrift store, something. There was nothing there. I looked it up and like there's literally like 100 GameStops there. Why is there 100 GameStops in South Dakota? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Because that's
What a
all they
mom and
have to
pop
do,
shop.
Eric. That's all they
But
have to do.
but you would think South Dakota would have it. Like it's such a quiet, dismal place. They would want to play video games.
Oh,
Why
you know
didn't
what
have
the
a
secret
Blockbuster?
is?
What's that?
There's actually a video game store, but you have to go up George Washington's nostril to get
I did
there.
not know that. I'm
Hmm
gonna have to sneak up there and hopefully not die. It's I don't know. It's just weird when I go to a place that doesn't have anything like it. It's like it's like Bermuda Triangle for me. It's like what this guy. I've been to places like you lived in Greenville and things like
hmm
that, and like they had little game stores and things like that.
Sure. Dude, I mean, we'll say it every single time, but we are very spoiled here
We
where
are.
we are.
Well, we only have 2 stores left. We used to have about 10. We're down to two.
We've got 2 stories left, but really there's only one that matters, and we've got the best shit. Like, my gosh, we're spoiled. Ben's Game Zone is second to none. I'm sure there are other places that are pretty awesome around the country, but when it comes to the Midwest, boy,
He takes
if
care of
there's
everybody though.
what's that?
He takes care of everybody. He
He does.
basically is the king of trades around here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
their whole crew is awesome. I love going there on Saturdays and ribbing on people. Like that's the fun part of it. And like just seeing something I've never seen before. He helped me find that Nintendo thing, which I thought was pretty cool. And other things. He has and literally he has. I've been waiting for it. It's a Blockbuster World Championships poster. The guy like the guy had the guides. Like this guy
Insane.
came in. He had a binder. And he literally collected all the stuff from the Blockbuster World Championships. And he took all the posters. He has his itinerary when he was playing his games, what he was eating, and all this type of stuff. And he had like the games and all the things. Like he showed it to me, it was nuts. I was like, had a heart attack when I saw him. It's just crazy what comes in his store.
Yeah.
And if you're in Omaha, you should definitely go there and support him. He is amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we'll get into our first topic, which is our favorite, is our pickups. We're going to show off our pickups. Bar's got this sweet new camera for his. Mine's in work, so I'm going to do it old school. So take it away, Bar.
Yeah, this is season 2. We're getting fancy now. We've got obviously a new layout here, and well, here's my second camera. Boom. If you see here, I've got this Dragon Warrior guide. This was actually from Coffin. Coffin got it at Ben's Game Zone, and it gave it to me. I didn't even know about this thing. I'm a huge Dragon Warrior fan. Like that was the first RPG I was ever like exposed to. So that's
So
really awesome to be able to have
it was
this.
in a Nintendo Power, and what's crazy about it is that it was connected to it. What people don't realize is that we didn't know anything about RPGs, and Japan was like, we got to teach these Americans how to play RPG games,
Yeah,
and so
that's
they gave
exactly
the
what
game for
happened.
free, and then they made guides to teach us how to play it. So
Hmm
that's like early, was it like probably mid '80s, probably early '90s? You know when that game came out?
Yeah, I'd be hard pressed to actually tell you exactly what date it was. I think it was late '80s
Yeah.
because Final Fantasy was late '80s and Dragon Warrior wasn't that far before that.
Which is crazy they didn't do a guide for Final Fantasy, like an actual like, guide like that.
hmm
I think it would have been very, very helpful. When I was a kid, I was confused by it.
Well,
Dragon
Final Fantasy actually had a Nintendo Power guide. Like it was actually a Nintendo Power issue dedicated to it.
really
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yep. Yep. And then also from Ben's Game Zone, Castlevania Symphony of the Night record. I've actually got one of these. This is from Mondo. You can see in the upper left-hand corner there. I've got one open. I've listened to it and all that good stuff, but I wanted one sealed, and I'm going to put it in a display case and actually like put it up on the wall.
Is that first or second version?
I think you were saying this is the first print, right?
Yeah, if you flip it on the back, it'll tell you that like the date when the Rondo of Blood was coming out on the back side.
Yeah, also
And,
due in 2018. So this is from 2018.
yep, correct.
Yeah,
So you got first press. What's cool
awesome.
about Mondo, a lot of people don't know, is they do certain colors, certain variants. Like my edition was an eco friendly one, so it was like made out of recycled bottles and stuff, which I thought
Hmm.
was pretty cool. And then the first was like the Rondo Blood, like you have, like they had special red and blue colors.
Yeah.
And at the time when Mondo first came out, they would only do like a limited amount of those. So you might have a rarity in there with the whatever color base you get too.
We'll never know because it's staying sealed. That's fine.
Ooh. Yep.
And then over here from our friend Ryan, who we had on the podcast last week, I bought some stickers, and he actually gave me some stickers as well from his pixel art business, and also from the Metroid database, which is just amazing. Such awesome like stickers. Can't wait to put these on stuff. Oh, and he gave me some Marvel things. So there's Doctor Strange right there. You know I love my Doctor Strange.
You sure do.
All right, and then just today I got in the mail ESP Galuda 2.
What is
which
that?
is a bullet hell shooter.
Oh, it does. It looked like I thought it was an RPG.
Nope, bullet hell shooter. And then Pipe Dream Games. Every once in a while he'll make a new Saturn game, and this one is English translation of Sakura Wars for Saturn. His stuff is amazing quality. So this is 2 discs. He didn't have any more cases, but I have plenty of cases to go around, so he just shipped it to me without a case, and I just put it in a case today.
So what is that game?
It's like a strategy RPG. Yeah, it's like a grid-based strategy RPG.
Oh, like the Final Fantasy Tactics?
Yeah. I mean, that's the combat anyway. And the rest of it's kind of like walking around like an RPG, I think. Don't roast me in the comments. I haven't played it, but that's what it looks like anyway.
That's cool.
Yeah,
it looks cool. I like the art in the front. I thought
man, it's gorgeous. He does an amazing job.
Oh man,
yeah.
He's like the other guy, like Project Retro, which is really good.
This guy, I think his name is Chris Piper, but he goes his company is Pipe Dream Games, or that's his like little side hustle. He actually reached out to me because I did a run of Police Knots on Sega Saturn, and he did one as well, but he knew that I had already done a manual for it. So he reached out to me, asked me if I would do, or if he could use my manual, which I have no problem with him doing. So whenever he does his release, it'll have my manual.
Which is crazy. What you guys don't realize was before Barra started like premium edition games and all that stuff, he used to make these really cool like Saturn games and things like that. And his Castlevania one's awesome. It was pretty funny when I put it in my Polymega and it downloaded your translation on it, which was hilarious. But he makes like really premium stuff, and his attention to detail is nuts on his releases.
I actually have one sitting right here. It's Retro Game Challenge 2.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
Yeah, so we made 50 copies of this, and they sold really fast. But it's actually on a Nintendo DS cart. I hired a Japanese translator to translate this manual, and then I used Photoshop and just meticulously changed everything. So it's actually an English manual with a cart that plays on Nintendo DS and DS Lites.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, really cool stuff. Any more pickups?
What you got?
So you know how certain Marvel characters I like. I know we were playing. You had a card set, and so I grabbed a few out of your card set. I'm a big Spider-Man 2099. A lot of people don't like it, but right now, because of the multiverse Spider-Man that came out, everyone's all in on him now. So I'm glad he's getting the coup that he got, because back in the day, no one paid attention to that. So they had X-Men 99 and all these things. And what's cool about him is that he was like a vampire as well. So like he was dealing with that as well, which I thought was pretty interesting. Of course, my boy Logan, turning into Weapon X, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite episodes of X-Men, the animated series in the 90s, is the Sentinels one, the very first episodes. And this reminded me of that, and so I got that one too.
Nice.
It's really cool. I like the coolest scene in that whole animated series is they show Wolverine in the dark, and he has like his claws out, and then it goes pitch black, and then when the Sentinels shoot a laser, it like flashes on the screen and shows him like running around just tearing people apart. Really, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
These couple I had to thank you for. These are all basically your SIFTA requirements. He upgraded his Castlevania, and when we went to a store, and so he brought it home, and then realized that he already had the box, so he passed along to me, and that's a Castlevania Circle of the Moon. And I get to thank you last time for this because I put it away, but I actually bought this was day one purchase for me when I bought the GBA. Little
Nice.
did I know, I didn't realize that there was no backlit GBA. So I literally sat in my dim. I had to buy a dim lamp on base just to play the damn thing. I was
Oh
so
man.
mad, and I couldn't play in my bed, so I literally had to point this cheesy lamp to my bed, and I was like this out like this, holding it. So really cool. Another Castlevania I got in the box, which is I definitely appreciate it. And then he knows how much I'm a Contra whore, aka hashtag Contra whore. He gave me the box and things for the Contra collection for LRG. Well, I bought a different version of this, but you're gonna laugh at this because I wanted to show this to you, and you're gonna crack up. This looks like it's made for this box.
Oh,
That,
crazy. Yeah,
that's
seriously. What the heck?
that's that's a Konami version of the game
Oh, that's funny.
they released. So technically, it looks like it came from this box,
Yeah.
which I thought was hilarious.
Meant to
And
be.
what's cool about these, like I'm not a super big on LRG, but I do like some of the stuff they try to do, like this. I think this was hilarious. I mean, the first time we saw these, and we're like, that is so cool of an idea. So they have like the slip covers,
Mm-hmm.
like the old Nintendo slip covers, and it
Yep.
came with a poster and a soundtrack, and I won't pull all that out. But I definitely appreciate this. I didn't get this version because at the time we were trying to get ready for a move, so that's pretty awesome. And then the biggest SIFTA item you've ever given me. This is from Shredder's Revenge. You cannot get this at a store. You can't buy it anywhere else. It was exclusively in the collector's edition of this on the PS4 and Switch, and that is the Gray Shredder. And I did a video on this, so I won't go really into detail. But when we were kids, we got this one.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a kid, I was like, "Is this a foot soldier? Like, what is this? This does not look like
Yeah.
Shredder." I was so confused.
Uh-huh.
And then LRG and Playmates rectified it by actually making him silver, like the cartoon.
Yeah.
And they have two different versions. You can see like the cloths; they're completely different. But happy to have him for my Shredder collection because I would probably never took the one out that I got for mine, or I would try to find someone else so I can get another one, which would probably be expensive. So you are the man. And then last but not least, the cards that you gave me. By
Oh
the
yeah.
way, at my son's birthday party, they were frantic for him. Uh, I made Sonic gift bags, and it came with like Chaos Emeralds and rings and Hershey Kisses. This thing that spins looks like Sonic spinning, and it was like a light. And then I threw the cards in there, and all these kids were at this arcade, and they're like, literally, it was really cool. It was like a flashback. They were all sitting at a table, and they were all trading with each other different cards.
Yeah, nice. Lost your audio.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Gotcha.
Okay, so I'll go back in there. But yeah, they were sitting at the table, and they were playing cards and trading with each other. They asked me if the gold ones were rare, which was hilarious. And it was super fun with it, and they really enjoyed it. So I appreciate that with your Sifted trades. But that is all. Oh, I got one more pickup, and you know how big Neo NES is into this game. This is my last two light gun games. I need it. I also found out something interesting. This one does not have light gun capability. The
Oh.
Saturn version has light gun capability.
Oh.
This one does. So technically, I
Okay.
still completed it. There is a way to get the gun con to work, and you have to download it. You have to have like one that you can do like an SD card on. You go online, You download it because originally they were going to make it a GunCon game, and then it's in the CD, but they didn't. They basically blocked it so you can't do it.
Yeah,
But
wow.
there's a file that you could download that you could put on this on a memory card, and you can unlock it so you can play it with GunCon.
So
So
weird.
yeah, it's super weird. I don't know why I thought it was a light gun like that. So that's part of my corrections from the Ben's Game Zone. But I'm still happy to have both of them. I got the Die Hard game on the TurboGrafx. So those are all my pickups.
Nice.
Next topic, a bar's night of the movies. He watched They Live last week, and it's a John Carpenter, Roddy Piper love machine.
Yeah, it is.
Basically, the premise of the movie is that this guy finds these glasses, and he realizes that basically they're being manipulated by aliens, and they're basically like he could see them, and he's trying to show everybody what's going on. But I'll let Abara give you the review of the movie
Yeah.
and see what you thought of it.
So I was always aware of this movie. I have no idea who told me about it whenever I was a kid. But I was aware of it, and I was aware that The Simpsons, Bart versus the Space Mutants. The very first stage is kind of a riff off of They Live because you've got these glasses, and then whenever you put them on, you can see if like people are aliens or not, and then you have to yeah, kill them or whatever. I don't know, not necessarily kill them in The Simpsons, but that's what he was trying to do in They Live. Um, I okay. I wish I would have. I really need to take notes, like every single movie that I watch. But I was enjoying this one a lot. Um, I think Roddy Piper, his character, he was just bored. It seems like he was just bored. So he's bored and he gets a job at a construction site and then is just showing off his muscles.
Hey,
like,
got him.
yeah, hey man, if you got him, show him, whatever. Um, but he makes fast friends with this other dude, and then he takes him to this homeless encampment that eventually he finds out is like a kind of a cover for this underground organization that's trying to enlighten people to the fact that these aliens are around. Um, and there's this church like right next door that's like super shady, and that's where they're making all these glasses for people to like distribute so that they can see the aliens because the aliens are um, doing this transmission so that people can't see them. Um, so convenient that the transmission was right there in the same city that he was in. So weird.
It is
And
weird.
these aliens are all over the globe apparently. Where were they? They were in California. Where was it?
I don't know, like specifically, but the funny thing is that I think he was homeless, and then he was just trying to find money to get something,
Yeah.
and then they take him to those church people, and then the church people are like that, but the aliens like had all the law. They were like the law basically, and it's like you show the scene like where they
Mm-hmm.
grabbed them all up and everything like that to prevent them from doing it.
Yeah.
I want to know what you thought of the 10-minute fight scene that went on.
I wish you guys hadn't told me about it. Because as soon as it started and they were just like punching each other and doing wrestling moves and stuff. I mean, like it started with him like clotheslining the guy.
So
um, yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, it went on forever, and they were just like, it grossed me out because they were in this like dirty alley, just like rolling around in the muck. It was nasty. It was so stupid because like every single time they're like, okay, well now he's down, and then he gets up, and the fight just keeps going on and on.
my
Was
favorite
that
part,
his car that he smashed with a 2x4?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The funniest thing I remember from the fight scene, and I thought you would catch on to it, was Roddy Piper hit him in the nuts, and he was like, "That's unfair." And then, not even like 2 minutes later, he was elbowing him in the balls like
Yeah,
100 times, which I thought was
a bunch.
hilarious. And
Yeah.
I was like, dude just told me it was unfair, and he comes over and starts racking his nuts over and over again,
Uh
which I thought was hilarious.
huh.
But that's why I love John Carpenter so much, because he takes weird premises, and even if it doesn't make sense, it's still an amazing movie. The bubblegum line, the
Yeah. Oh,
fucking,
there's so many one-liners, man. Like some of them
yeah.
I'd never heard before, and it's so funny. There's one character that just bothered me to no end, and it's that stupid female with the two like super blue eyes. She
Yeah.
was the worst actress ever. She's just so like unconcerned with everything that's going on around her. Oh, I'm getting kidnapped. Oh, there's literally like 20 people shooting guns, and like she could not care less to like move with any sort of speed or urgency to get out of there.
It's that's why I say it's so funny, is because like I feel like John Carpenter like just takes it, like he has a premise down, like a foundation of it.
Hmm.
And I think what he does when he does his movies is that he just does stuff on the fly. He kind of did the same thing with Big Trouble in Little China. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the lines and like that. Like he'll and also what he does with his actors, he lets them go too to see how they react to things. It's just weird premises like Escape from L.A. You didn't like that
That
movie that
actually makes a
much.
lot of sense. You saying that he lets his actors just go, but it seems like he doesn't really like. Okay, hey, that was good. He probably does that a lot instead of like making them do it all over again. Whereas it would probably be better on the second take. I
Yeah,
don't know.
but like I think with him too is that he's got a vision in his head. He also does like the soundtracks for the movie, which is even more
Yeah,
crazy.
I didn't
Like
know
you
that.
don't even know that.
I was gonna say the opening track. The I mean it's pretty appropriate. I mean like it sounds like oppressive and like he's struggling or whatever. But man, did they get their money's worth with that music? It was throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, he loves his synth wave for sure. He loves
Mm-hmm.
his like early '80s like techno stuff. He's
Yeah.
just outstanding, and it's sad the way they did him, man. Because the Big Trouble in Little China was basically his last big movie, because the same year they had Aliens come out, and they didn't tell him. So Fox gave him this money to make this movie, and then they basically released it 10 days before Aliens.
Oh.
And so like he got screwed, and then he hated Hollywood, and he's like, I'm not doing Hollywood movies again because they don't care about anything. So that sucks for me. I mean, he did come back and make Vampires as well, which is
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty funny. It's got James Woods in it. You know how you've seen James Woods in Family Guy?
Yeah.
He acts the same way in this movie, which is hilarious. He's telling Priest like, "Hey, you got a little mahogany under there. You got a little chub." Like just effing with Priest and stuff, which is hilarious. Goes to Mars. It's
Oh
it's just
man.
it's just super funny stuff. All right, sir. We got your next 3 movies,
All right.
and we're gonna see what your homework is today. A, B, or C.
A popped into my head.
You're gonna have an evening with Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
Demon Knight.
Demon Knight. Okay.
Tales of the Crypt.
All right. Nice.
So the
Yeah,
the premise of this
I
the premise of this
recognize the
movie,
Crypt Keeper there.
yeah. So there is a premise to this movie. Okay, we were talking about it earlier. Uh, it's kind of like Highlander. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they have different people from time, and they're protecting God's blood and this key. And so each person that dies has to put their blood in there to keep it alive. It's the only way to fight against the devil. Billy Zane is a bounty hunter for the devil, and he's trying to get the key back so they could take over the world.
Okay.
And this is Billy Zane's best movie ever. He is so over the top in this. You're gonna love it for sure.
So
I think it's interesting.
I've got a dumb question. It's Tales
Okay.
from the Crypt. So is the Crypt Keeper just like a character that's like kind of a mascot, or is he actually in some of the movies?
So he used to introduce. So you remember like the old like horror movie shows where they would have like a guy introduce thing and do silly
Yeah,
stuff.
I know.
Well,
So that's where I
that's
recognize
what
him
that's
from.
That's what he does. So HBO had a Tales of the Crypt. They would do like
Yeah.
horror shows, like little mini episodes. So it'd be like an hour long each one, and then he would be in the middle making jokes about it.
Okay.
Like
So
goofy
he's not
stuff.
actually part of any of the movies. It's just he's
Oh no,
like their mascot.
he's in this movie. Like
Oh.
it is Tales of the Crypt. They made 2 movies. It's Demon Knight and then Bordello of Blood, because they started doing like full range movies. Will Smith's wife Jada Pinkett's in it.
Oh
In this
gosh.
one as well. And then a lot of good actors and stuff like that are in it too. And
Is
that's
Chris
what was
Rock
cool
in it?
about that. Probably. He's probably somewhere in there getting slapped. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't tell you the director's cut. It was actually they switched out the Billy Zane with Will Smith, and then Chris Rock was the
Oh.
guy that had the tattoos. And then he slapped the blood
And
right out
and
of
Chris Rock is actually the Crypt Keeper.
him. He better hope he's a crypt keeper. You better not hope he's the hero. He's gonna get slapped. But but Billy Zane like is just absolutely completely over the top. You'll love it a lot. It's pretty good. You'll
Awesome.
laugh. There's some very inappropriate characters in the movie. I'm just gonna let you know there are some inappropriate stuff in there. So
So
be
you're
sparingly
saying
in front
watch
of
it
a
with
wife.
Natalie.
If Natalie likes boobs and people hooking up stuff to their nipples, then absolutely.
Okay.
Just saying. But yeah, we'll ask you for your review next week. I can't wait for you to meet Uncle Willie as well.
Nice.
So next topic that we're going to talk about is best video game reference books. And what we mean by that is like books that we enjoy. It could be like a guide. It can be like certain genre of games. There's so many great books out there that people don't really notice. Like your boy Jeffrey Wellington, Windhagen, excuse
Yeah.
me. He makes books that are amazing. You're making console books, so I thought this would be good since your Kickstarter's over that we discuss a couple of books maybe people don't know about that maybe they
Yeah.
should pick up and enjoy if they like video games. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start off the segment by being a shameless shill.
Chill.
I'm so well, but I'm concentrating on just console books. So I have to talk about my own. I'm in a console book. But yeah, so I've got the Video Game Console Collector's Field Guide by yours truly. But now, do I hear applause or something? What is that? That's funny. But this is one book that I never heard of, even in all of my research doing consoles, and I can't believe that I haven't heard of this. There's several in the series, but it's called Phoenix. And this is Phoenix 4. So this is a console reference book too. I had no idea this even existed. This is by Leonard Herman. What's that?
It looks like a D&D book. Like if I walked
Yeah, it kind
by
of does. Like, yeah, the
D&D
artwork
book.
kind of looks like D&D for sure.
Or like one of the comic novels.
Yeah. But
cool.
it's kind of riffing off of the fact that video game consoles and the video game industry rose like a phoenix from the ashes after the crash, the video game crash of 1983. So like a phoenix rose from the ashes, and it is the industry that it is today. But he goes by like era. And he's got a whole. I mean, it's very, very text heavy. It's not like my book, where I don't know. I've kind of cross referenced now that I know this exists. I've tried to see like if he has the amount of stuff that I have in there, and he's got a lot of. Or he doesn't have a lot of consoles that I have in my book. That's not disparaging, whatever. I'm just pointing out the facts. But he has a lot more information in his book that's not in my book. So. I would definitely recommend, if you have my book, to also get his as a reference. It's a very good reference, and it's a good read.
That's awesome.
It's very interesting.
So I'll show my first one. This is a book you have and I have. Bitmap Books.
Yeah.
And this one, for example, is the NES one and Famicom.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so cool about this book, I'm not a big reader. Okay, I'm just going to be honest with it. But what I love that they do to pull you in is these beautiful illustrations and colors and things like that in the book.
Yeah.
They also do like pull out posters and things like that. One of my favorites is this one, and this Batman one is just looks so cool. And I didn't even
Yeah,
know
that's
about
really
this
cool.
game until I read this book, and then I had to go out and find it, The Return of the Joker.
Hmm.
And it's just kind of like a visual book. They do like a little bit of like cutscenes and things like that, but it's mostly like kind of like a, just like a a table book that people can just pick up and just check out.
Yeah.
And I did the Kickstarter for this one, and they send like a lot of cool stuff with it too. So like you even got the front prints of some of the box art,
Hmm.
and they talk about RPGs and they break them down by each one. Like that's awesome. Like I always loved that level in Red Racer. I thought Glow in the Dark. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the only thing that sucks about it is that they're overseas, so it does cost money to import them in. But they've done like Master System and Super Nintendo. I bought the Super Nintendo one too, uh, and it's definitely well worth the price of entry just to have something you can just sit on your coffee table and check out.
Cool.
Go ahead.
I've got one final book, and it's also a console book. But I shout this guy out all the time because he was awesome enough to. If you go on Wikipedia and look up any game console, odds are that you're going to see this guy's photography. It's beautiful, beautiful photography that he's done for every console. His name is Evan Amos,
Oh,
and
I
he's
do know him.
actually made a book of his own. It's called The Game Console, and there's actually two different versions. There's the original version, and now he's got 2.0.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, so it's very image heavy as opposed to Phoenix, which is very text heavy. But it's got beautiful pictures of everything. Just it's all its photography, and it breaks down each console. So he'll actually like take apart things like this Xbox controller and
That's
show
cool.
you the guts of like everything. I mean, down to like consoles too. So it's a beautiful, beautiful book. Gorgeous read. There's nothing like it. This guy is kind enough to take these pictures and put them in the public domain for other people like me to use in their works. So I give Evan Amos all the credit in the world. He deserves it. He's an awesome guy, and what a great thing for preservation. Yeah, definitely go check out and pick up the game console.
I think also with him too. You know how you see like a lot of the frames now with like broken consoles where they're broken apart and they show all the parts and stuff.
Hmm.
I feel like he's the founder of that. Like where people got this inspiration of making those frames and everything of certain
Sure.
consoles and stuff.
Yeah.
His stuff is like very high quality. Like his pictures are
Yeah. It's
always
it's
high quality.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
I'm mad I missed out on that book when it came out. I didn't know anything about it. I had a friend that had that book and I was like, man, that is super clean.
I want to say it's on Amazon. I I think you
Is
can
it?
pick it up on Amazon now. Yeah.
Might have to grab it. So I'm not going to be a shill to Nintendo. I'm sorry, but I thought this was very interesting when they decided during the NES Mini and the Super Nintendo Mini that they would get a book and go back in time, and that's the Playing with Power NES Classics. And what people don't realize is like they're kind of like Nintendo Powers, basically. Uh, what's cool? They got the cool art on the outside, just kind of like your boy there. This is more
Hmm.
black and white. But what's great is that it's kind of like a whole guide of all their Nintendo Power stuff that they had when they were doing covers for certain games. And so they did all the games that are on the actual mini,
Yeah.
and they show like cool like art that they use for the Nintendo Power. And I'm a big Nintendo Power nut, and
That's
they did
awesome.
like Miyamoto conversations and stuff like that about like the designs of his games and things like that, which I thought was pretty cool. And it comes in a
Yeah.
NES case, which is great. And then I'll show
Hmm.
you the Super Nintendo one. And the first, it was bad because when we were buying those books, we bought the minis. I had to buy the books. I'm like, they're kidding me again.
Yeah. No.
But
1-2
this
punch.
one, this one's a Super Nintendo book, and they made it just like the Super Nintendo cart. And better take that digital portion out. I might give that to you. But like that was like an original design that they were going to do for the Super Nintendo when it first came out.
That's cool.
That Mario print right there. But what I like about it, like same thing here, they just do little feeds on like Metroid and the history of it. Instead of like doing the Nintendo Power one, like the first one, they did interviews with each person that actually worked on the games and
Wow.
some of the clip arts and stuff like that. Like I love this cheesy ass beaver.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country.
And I like literally sat there and read like, oh yeah, this one's hilarious too. Look at all these people dressed up as Kirby on the release of the Kirby for the Super Nintendo,
Oh my gosh.
and they're all like chewing pink gum and everything, which is hilarious.
Hilarious.
And it's just really cool that they, you know, I think Nintendo could do these great freaking novels of stuff that they're doing. They just don't back it up. And it was cool
No.
that they finally did like 2 books. They also did a Zelda book too. Like it was a gold Zelda cart, and it's huge. It's like this big,
Yeah.
and that one's pretty interesting too. But if you find them, they're relatively cheap. I don't think they're super expensive, but they're amazing books if you're a big Nintendo fanboy like me and Ibarra here.
Yeah. Just to wrap up, my portion anyway. Just going back to the game console 2.0. Yeah, right now if you go on Amazon, it's $27.
Oh, I'm gonna pick one up as soon as I get done with this podcast.
Yep, it's on sale.
Go out there and buy it. Support him, please.
Evan Amos.
Don't buy all of them so I can get one. All right, next topic. Curating a home arcade. So me and Ibarra have had this crazy history with getting arcades, and then there's another company out there called Arcade One Up that kind of blew our minds, giving us a dream of having room for arcades, if you will. And we wanted just to talk about, our journeys with finding arcades and some of the things that you can currently do now to have that arcade feel at your house.
Yeah.
So this guy over here has me super jealous. He has a candy cab. If you know what that is, it's the coolest arcade cab ever. So, Ibarra, tell us about your arcades. Tell me about your journey with arcades. Some maybe memories of arcades that you had to, and then
yeah, of course.
Maybe a little bit on Arcade Up.
Yeah, so I guess I'll begin with I was the kid that was we grew up poor, just like Eric. Kind of, we didn't have all the disposable income in the world, so I spent most of the time in the arcade watching other people play games because I hardly ever had quarters to my name to spend. It was a lot of fun, especially growing up in the 80s and 90s in the heyday of arcades. And oh my gosh, I remember whenever Street Fighter II Championship Edition came out, and people were just like huddled around, like, the cabinet, and they actually had like a TV monitor like above it so that people could see what was going on. And then, of course, Mortal Kombat coming out, and Killer Instinct coming out. Now, Killer Instinct was one that always resonated with me because it was so in your face and loud and flashy and just, it was so 90s, man. It was just like that attitude, that 90s attitude. That's Killer Instinct encapsulates that attitude and that feeling of going to the arcades because it was just so loud and in your face. And anyway, fast forward to whenever we, got a job and whatever. Like, arcades have always been out of reach for people growing up. Like, in the 80s and 90s, there were thousands of dollars. And back then, adjusted for inflation, that's way, way a lot of money. Like, way out of reach. But then, whenever arcades died off, and then, these arcade cabinets had to go somewhere, then that's when people could actually start getting them, and they weren't worth as much, especially whenever the technology at home and the home consoles caught up to the arcades. Then that, the appeal of going to the arcades, that's kind of why it died in the first place, because people could just stay at home and have that same experience, sadly. Whenever we joined the Air Force, it really wasn't a good time for us to have any sort of arcade cabinets because we were moving around a lot. we knew that we were going to be moving. I had like a MAME arcade cabinet for a while, and that thing didn't survive, all the moves, unfortunately. But it wasn't until I actually like got out of the Air Force and got into this house that I purchased something that I had wanted for a long time. And my first real arcade cabinet or whatever, was a Starship Troopers pinball machine. Which, dude, I was so excited to get. I remember like whenever I was stationed at Offutt in like 2012, someone had one on Craigslist for like $1,200, but I knew I was about to get orders, so couldn't get it. Yeah, fast forward to like whenever I got here, and it was just serendipitous that there was one available like right in my same city. So that was awesome. What was your first arcade cabinet that you picked up?
So I was hunting for the Playchoice 10 forever.
Mm-hmm.
There was two cabinets I've been trying to target. One is definitely out of reach now, and that was a Donkey Kong cabinet and a Playchoice cabinet.
Mm.
The goal is like you. I was very poor. I do have a funny story though, and ahead of this too. So my son's birthday was this weekend, and I decided to take him to a place called Papico Fun Park, and it's literally like it just like you just stepped in the 80s again, 80s and 90s. It has go
Awesome.
karts, it has laser tag, it has arcade machines, it has like all the stuff that we had as kids, and it was kind of like a throwback. I took $60. Me and my wife like pulled $60 out because they knew they want to have quarters for the kids. And you know how it is, like Chuck E. Cheese. What's the hustle? What's the one thing hustles for quarters in there? Tickets.
Yeah.
And boy, did I learn a valuable lesson. That $60 did not last longer than 10
Nah, dude.
minutes. Everyone was like, "Can I have a quarter? Can I have a quarter? Can I have a quarter? Hey, you got a quarter? Leland's dad, I need a quarter." And it was like that all day. And I'm literally my wife made me like the pit boss of them. I was basically handing out little quarters of crack to
You should have
everybody.
had that change belt.
I should have, yeah, for real. It's like I felt like I was basically had a bunch of like crackheads running around like trying to do the machines. And it was a cool throwback because I was the same way as a kid. I wish I had those quarters and things like that for them. So it's kind
Damn
of cool
straight, man.
I give my kids that. But the first one I got was a Playchoice 10. You were part of this shenanigans. I found one
Mm-hmm.
on Craigslist. The guy wanted $200 for it. He recapped the monitors, and we made a deal at 175. And then I was going to pick it up. The day I got the U-Haul, he said, "Well, someone wrote me for it, and he gave me a higher price, and you either pay
Mm-hmm.
the higher price or you don't get it." So I was like, "Well, kick rocks then." I was pretty pissed. My wife got the brunt of it. I was like, I had all these scenarios where I was about to pick it up, and then something would happen, and I would get screwed out of it. And I was just had enough, and I just got hot, and I felt bad for her. I was like, "These mother effers keep messing with me. This unicorn keeps flying away when I see it. I'm tired of it." And then like what? It was like 2 weeks later, he called me and was like,
Mm-hmm.
"You still want the deal?" And I was like, "Nah, you bring it over to my house at 175." And sure enough, we were in the garage, and it came over,
Yeah.
and I couldn't believe I had it. Like that's the crazy portion of it. Like I never thought I would own a Playchoice. And the other one, which is the countertop, that one
Yeah.
was a whole funny story. I went to Worlds of Fun with the family. I'm talking to this guy on Craigslist like 6 weeks prior. I couldn't believe he held it for me. He's like, "We made a deal at like $700." And I said, "Hey, I'm going to Worlds of Fun on this date. I can meet you at your place after we go to our thing." And like the whole time we were on that trip for roller coasters, the only thing I could think about was like, "I'm getting me a countertop. Getting me a countertop. Don't screw." I'd
Yeah.
be on roller coasters and I'd be like, "Countertop, countertop." And then we went to this dude's place, and it was like it looked like a mall from the 80s. And so what I found out was they were going to open franchises there, but the guy who owned it went bankrupt, and he bought the land. So everything on that shopping mall was still there that they were putting into the place.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a Pizza Hut there. And of course, all this weather and craziness, you know how the weather is out here in Midwest. We
Well,
went in there. He had boxes of the red cups, the old Pizza Hut cups. I was like, "I'm
the
taking
bumpy
those."
cups, yes.
I had a Pizza Hut light, and the there was a, and then we went to his house for the thing. And dude, by the way, this place was sketchy, like super sketchy. Like Melissa was like really scared. Like we basically just met him at his house,
Mm,
and they had this dog on a like a big old chain, and like came full speed at us. And I was like, oh my god, what am I
dang.
getting into? Like I thought I was gonna get robbed. And I walked in this house. There's literally like wires and stuff hanging out the walls, and like he just has a casual cigarette thing there, and he just has it on this table, like new in the box. And Melissa wouldn't. I told Melissa, I'm like, you hold the money outside. I'm like, I'm not going in there with money. If I don't come back, you take off. Don't hesitate to leave. And we brought it outside, and the scariest portion, I had the arcade. He had this rug, and I slipped on it, and I
Oh, damn.
literally like fell down the steps. But I my wife was laughing. I literally landed on my feet like Spider-Man, and I had it in my hands. And she was like, "That was the craziest but coolest thing I've ever seen you do."
Dang.
And then we drove it all the way home, and then basically I had to clean it, of course, and all that stuff. But you see how mint it is,
Oh,
like
yeah. That thing is
it,
immaculate.
it's a minty thing, and the guy was really awesome for holding it for me, and he didn't have to do that. It's kind of cool that he went to like a Pizza Hut and had the whole thing there. I wish I would have grabbed the box that was with it, because it was the original box, and
Mm,
there was no plays on it, no plays. So
sick.
it's like brand spanking new. But I love my Playchoice. That's my like with yours, like you have like your Starship Troopers. That's the one I wanted, and I
Yeah.
got two of them now, which is like the best.
Yeah. Well, piggybacking off play choice. So Ben's Game Zone, which we talk about a whole lot. He used to have arcade cabinets. He has one now, but he used to have a bunch of arcade cabinets in the back of his store. Um, and at one point, he had a play choice. And what was it, last year, or I don't even remember when it was. I think it was
It was
before.
probably 2 years.
Yeah,
Two
2 years
years,
ago,
maybe
because it
2 years
was
ago.
before
Yeah.
I left for the desert for a year.
Yep.
Um, but he said that he was going to get rid of it, and I'm like, Ben, hold on to it for me. Like, I'm going to make you a deal. He's like, all right, buddy. So I had a retail PlayStation 2 cabinet, like a giant cabinet that he wanted because he's a PlayStation 2 collector.
Yeah, big one.
I ended up getting this thing on Craigslist down in Texas for $40. I mean, it's got like all of like everything that came in that cabinet was still like with it, and it was in great shape. Light up marquee and everything. So I traded him that and some cash, and now I've got a play choice. I had to repair both monitors. I hired somebody to come over here and actually like change out every single capacitor. It still needs work. Like the bottom screen, the one you actually play games on, is dim. Like it needs the
Flywheel.
brightness turned up somehow.
It's a
So it's
flywheel.
yeah. So it still needs some work. But it's almost there. Like I restored the control panel. That thing was a bitch. Taking off that thing, like all that old glue, we had
We
to
did
like
that with
soak.
mine.
Yeah, mine was worse. Mine was worse. I actually had to soak that control panel in ethanol in
Oof,
order to,
God,
yeah,
but
like,
that smelled great.
yeah, I was freaking getting a high from it. Um, but that's all done, and now I've got the play choice, and then my grail. It wasn't the Starship Troopers pinball machine. I'd always wanted one of those, but what I always wanted, like ever since I was a little kid, and it was because my mom would go grocery shopping at Safeway. And while she did her grocery shopping and whatever, every once in a while she would give me a quarter, but most of the time she wouldn't. I would go over to where the arcades were. They had Versus Super Mario Brothers, but they also had a Neo Geo cabinet.
Oh, love it. I want one so bad.
And they had Road Blasters. I remember watching the attract mode for Road Blasters all the time, too. But they had, it was like King of Fighters and Fatal Fury. in that Neo Geo cab. But I would always watch the attract mode. Would just sit there and stare at the screens while my mom did grocery shopping, and then once she was done, I would go over and go home. But the Neo Geo has always been like a part of me because of those trips to Safeway. So when I had an opportunity, now that I'm settled down and not moving anywhere, and I've got room in my basement, when I had the opportunity to buy one and like have one shipped from California, like freighted, dude, I couldn't be happier. I love that thing so much.
I remember the fun trip of going to go get that thing.
Yeah, dude. You've been there for damn near
Every one.
every
Yep.
single
The
time
Velvet Queen.
I've every arcade cabinet, every heavy thing that's come down those stairs, you've been a part of it.
I get
Oh my
excited for
gosh.
you because I had the same way. Like I get
Hmm.
excited that I get to see it. Like uh the it was really funny when we went to go pick it up. I was so jealous of you. I was like, oh, look at him. He's got a Neo Geo cabinet. I want one of these.
Oh man, I love that thing. And then I've got a multi-cart, one of the Terra Onion no MVS Pros. I was lucky enough, like I bought the arcade cabinet, and it just so happened that they did a final run of those cartridges. Like at retail, those things are expensive. I spent like
Yeah.
$700 on it, and now they're worth like double that at least
Well,
because they don't make them anymore.
by the way, we need to get back our Turf Masters rivalry going again
Oh
because we
yeah.
haven't played
Hmm.
that in like a while. This guy over here, man, he always gets me like every time. It makes me so mad.
uh,
I do these whiffed off shots, and he does the same thing, and he does like perfect green shots, and it just makes me so
on the
mad. On the
green.
green,
No,
hate
no,
it
it's on
so
the
much.
green.
Green,
On the
yeah, it makes me
green.
so mad. But one company, like we were talking about, like Arcade One Up.
Hmm.
Originally, genius idea. $200 $300 for, like an arcade that would fit in your home. I've
Yeah,
bought
that
literally
is
3 of them.
that's a price point where everyone can have an arcade in their house.
And then once Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out, then they got greedy. And then they charged a bunch of money for T2. Then they charged a bunch of money. They have a new Time Crisis one, which by the way pisses me off. And the Killer Instinct one pissed me off because
Yeah.
they didn't make a regular version. I feel that they should make 3 versions, okay? A regular edition that's not that expensive,
Hmm.
a deluxe edition that comes like with the arcade and the stool, and then
Yeah.
an ultimate edition where it's just like the arcades.
Yeah, just one
You
piece.
can kind of pick, yeah, you can kind of pick what you want.
Uh
They don't do that. They just now it's like everyone's $700,
huh.
and what people do now is they just wait because some knucklehead's going to be excited and buy it, and then they just
Yeah.
get rid of it, and then you buy it for like half the price, and so
Yep.
everyone waits around for them. And I feel like that's what I did with my NBA Jam. That's what I did with a couple other ones because like I didn't have to pay the full retail price for them. The sit down cocktail table I got that for $150. It goes retail for 500,
Yeah.
and then the NBA Jam was retailed at $400 with the lights and all that stuff, and I got it for I think it was like $100 in
Hmm.
Bellevue, and it's just sad because I know the licensing it costs some money, and I get that. I understand that. I can understand a little bit, like say 350 or something like that. I understand that, but the material they make it out of is not great material.
No.
So like it's like cardboard, and like I've had to change out controller pieces for it to make it authentic to arcade, and I just don't understand where a 749 price point for it
Well,
is
yeah.
that much
If
money.
if any of you have ever like bought a shelf off, from like IKEA or off of Amazon or something like that, and it comes packaged and it's all like together and it's got all the pieces and you have to assemble it. That's the same thing you do with an arcade one up, and it's the same kind of materials, only with artwork on them.
And I also think too, it's the arcade snobs that caused this issue because I think people were complaining, well, it's not like authentic and it doesn't have the
Hmm.
panel sides and da 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 da. Because you remember the first ones came out, they were just black on the sides and they had a
Yeah.
couple like little stickers and stuff.
Yeah.
I got your Final Fight for $150.
Yeah, that thing was awesome.
And it's great stuff. Like I like it. My kids like it. Ninja Turtles down here is very popular. And it's just like, but it just frustrates me with their pricing now. And then like changing, altering games like Blitz. Like, why would you destroy the whole thing about Blitz? Is like,
Yeah, I know. That's so weird, man. I don't understand that.
and they want the NFL license, and they're like, well, CTE is bad on a video game. I understand real life, but it's a make believe game.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why you played Blitz, was to smack your friend around. That's like the whole
Like
point of it.
with that same argument, they make a Mortal Kombat, but you can still rip someone's heart out. That's bad for you in real life.
Correct, and made by the same company.
I've had my heart ripped out. I almost died.
But yeah, I feel both ways are fine. I know that some people like original hardware and stuff like that. But you just really can't get it sometimes, and it's great that they have a company out there making them like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just got crazy. I want the Neo Geo one, but it's still like $600, and I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
paying for a countertop for $600.
No, heck no. Heck
No,
no. You can almost buy a real Neo Geo for that price.
correct.
And that's the problem with these arcade one-ups. Like, Time Crisis, yeah, of course it's like brand new and maybe like shinier, but if you look hard enough, you can find a real one for that price.
Here's another thing that's going to make you mad about the Time Crisis: 2 guns, 1 pedal.
What? What?
2 guns, 1 pedal.
How does that make sense?
I don't know.
Okay,
Do you
interesting.
alter? Do you alter between each person? Dude, if that's true, then you're gonna wear that paddle, that freaking foot pedal out
Yeah, that's weird, man.
for sure. So I will wait for it to go relatively cheap, and then I'll swoop in on it and get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, it has Point Blank on there, so I'm pretty excited about that if that's true, because I never got to play it in the arcade like you have. So
Yeah.
that'll be definitely interesting.
I am like I'm thankful to them for bringing out some games that would have never seen the light of day, like The Simpsons
Yep.
and Turtles and X-Men's a thing, right? Also,
They have X-Men, but you don't really see it. They make a lot of those.
yeah,
They also
but
make Golden Axe too.
mm-hmm. But like a lot of these games that came out in the arcade that never got a home port, that's the only way that you can have it at home now,
Yep,
officially.
that's crazy. All right, next we're going to go into our retrospectives. First, we're going to go over the games we did last week, and then we got new choices this week. I had Tetris Plus.
Mm-hmm.
You, sir, had your game as well. Would you like to tell us about your Mega Man X4?
I got it taken easy on me last week. I kind of wish that he had chosen one of the shitty Mega Man X's
I
because I
was
actually
hoping
like
he would.
X4.
I was
I
hoping
like
he was going to pick
X4.
one. I gave him
Yeah, I
the
know.
option of any one,
I know.
and he's
I
like,
was
"I'm
I
not
was
doing 7."
expecting X7 or X6,
Yep.
but I got X4 chosen for me, which is a game that I've played a lot of. So I was happy to go back and play it. I love the art style. It's so vibrant and just it's a pretty game. It's I don't know. There's not a whole lot to say about it except for it's really fun. Like that one's awesome. It's got really awesome music. I love the stages. I hate that one of the stages' names is Air Force. By the way, did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean it's Mega Man X4.
The is that the one with the Ghost Zero? I can't think of which one that was. There was one
Ghost
that had
Zero.
like a
Oh, I didn't get
had a
far enough. If it's got Ghost Zero.
I don't know which one it is, but there's one that like he's like a spirit or something. Like he's like purple. I can't think of which one it was, but like,
I don't remember.
uh, yeah, the I like it's an underrated thing because they actually did make a lot of 2D games on the PlayStation, like Canola and a few other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So that still had those like those X throwbacks. Are awesome. I get scared of my one on the Saturn because I'm afraid I'm going to break it, so I get
I
scared.
know,
So
yeah, but that's what I
I put
played
it
it
in
on. I played that on
Polymega.
Saturn.
I play on the Polymega, and I'm like, I'm good. Because you guys gave me that, and I would hate for something bad to happen to that thing, so I don't touch it.
Yeah.
I had Tetris Plus. and you're a demon for what you did to me. Uh, I already suck at Tetris, but then I suck even further when I'm trying to get this guy all the way to the bottom, and that freaking drill keeps coming. And then instead of him going down, he wants to keep climbing up on random stuff. Like, stop it!
Yeah,
Stop climbing up there.
Exactly. No, don't do that.
Yeah,
Go that way.
I was yelling at him all on Sunday, and my wife was like, "Who are you yelling at?" And I was like, "This stupid professor that won't listen to me." Because I followed the rules, but every time I would put one down, he would walk over and climb up it. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I did not get past level 2. I'm just gonna be
Okay. Yeah, that's
level
fine.
2.
Yeah, 4 was
level 2 is
optimistic.
the first one, it was like easy. It was like, I did it in 6.8 seconds. And I was like, oh, yeah, eat that, Abara. I'm going to whoop this game. And then we got to level 2. And then that stuff changed real quick. I don't like that they just make you seem like you can do it really easy and then just drop this hammer on you. Because it had like a pyramid thing. And I was like, how do I do this?
Yeah, the game design is really cool. And so I was so into that game at one point that... So there's a level creator in that game.
Yeah, I saw it.
I actually made an entire set of 8 stages at one point. And the very last stage, and that freaking the memory card that I had it saved on corrupted. I'm so mad. Because it was awesome. Like the very last stage that I made actually spelled out die. It was beatable, but it was really fucking hard.
In honor of your memory card.
Yeah. Moment of silence.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it had a lot of good stuff on there. It had my Metal Gear stuff. It had Suikoden. It had Symphony of the Night. Yeah, terrible thing.
I've only had one PS1 memory card go out on me, and it was only because my friend tripped and dumped Sprite on it.
Ooh.
And it had my 100% Tony Hawk 2 on there with all the hidden levels and stuff, and I was hot about it. I was like, you owe me a new memory card. But like I said, it's a really fun Tetris game. Like I like it a lot. It was very interesting. I like I like their idea with the drill. Like it gets you all panicky and stuff. It gives you anxiety, which is not good for my old self. But it was super fun to play. I have it on my Poly Mega. It's like the only Tetris game I have on my Poly Mega right now. So like, I really did enjoy it a lot.
It's a fun game. It's a really fun game.
So next pick for you for my week, I'm going to give you something different. And we had this conversation about this, and I don't think you've fully got into it. You probably have this. The Resident Evil Origins collection. You're going to play Resident Evil 0.
Oh, no.
So Zero, if you don't know about Zero, is you have 2 companions with you that you have to switch between. And you have to give people stuff. And then what's interesting, there's no save room where you can drop your stuff off. You have to drop it on the floor. Your mission is to get through the train portion of the game, not the rest of it. You have to get through the train portion of the game.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of back and forth with it. So I would highly suggest you watch who you give stuff to, because it can come back to haunt you.
I did play that game on GameCube, so I have played Zero. That it was only on GameCube, right?
No, they have a HD. They had it on Wii.
Okay.
And they had it on this Origins collection, which is the best version of the game right now.
I'll have to see if I have that. I'm not sure if I do. I may have to borrow it from you if I don't.
If not, you can borrow mine. It's not a big deal.
I may have to. I'll check after this, but
or we can get one from Ben's too, because Ben probably has it too.
There you go.
It's not really expensive.
Yeah.
But it does have the best version of RE1 on there. So if you're a big fan of the GameCube RE1, it looks so clean on a PS5.
Yep.
Okay. What have you chosen for my death, sir?
We're going with the same platform, and I don't think you're going to have this one on your Poly Mega, so we're going to have to let you borrow this and load it.
Okay.
Where did it go? Where is it? You might be lucky. Oh, there it is. No, wait. Where'd it go?
Yes.
Crap. Oh, okay, I found it. Just kidding, guys. Same platform as before. No one's been able to stop this guy. This game came out in 1998. No one's been able to stop him yet. Let's see if Eric here can stop Mr. Domino.
Oh no!
No
I
one
know
can
about
stop
this game.
Mr. Domino.
Oh, Mr. Domino. That's son of a bitch.
I just
I
want you
know
to play
all
it
about
for.
that game too.
I just want you to play it for 20 minutes. That's your
That's
objective.
fine. I can do that. Dibs.
Without cursing.
I don't know if I can promise that. I was cussing at your Tetris one.
Yeah. No one can stop Mr. Domino.
Have you ever done this before with a friend or with a wife or like that? Like you tell her how unfair it is, and she has no clue what the hell you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I do that all the time with her, and I feel so bad. I'm like, this damn game. Look at this. Who put the drill up here? What is this? Who thinks of these stupid things?
The last time that happened to me, I was play testing because it was one of the manuals that I was making, but it was a game that Premium Edition is putting out called Wife Quest. The game is really simple, but when you get to the bosses, holy fuck, man! The balance that they put into that game, like you can barely beat those bosses. Like it's a Mega Man-esque fight where it's like patterns, but
yeah,
dude, you can't mess up. I barely survived like every single one of those fights.
And the reason why I did 0 for you is that there is actually a D-Mate coming out very soon
boy.
that you can actually play on PlayStation. So I thought when I watched it. So I was watching it while I was doing my work today. I just kind of threw it on sideways, and I was like, actually, it's pretty interesting, the way they did it. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna. I think that's the game I'm gonna pick because a lot of people. This is what I have an issue with it too. It's, by the way, it's not a great game, but it's a decent Resident Evil game, and I wish they would have done it like Resident Evil 4, where they had like Ashley, where you kind of can switch between characters like that and keep them with you and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm fine with them dropping stuff on the floor. That would be an interesting gameplay mechanic, but I just think they had too much on their plate at the time. They had 4, they had the RE1 coming out, and then they've been working on 0 since the N64. Yeah. And I think it just got kind of pushed aside because the story doesn't make any sense to the Resident Evil lore, by the way, either. It doesn't connect in. It's like, okay, Rebecca was in that house in RE1, right? So they randomly crash, and then they're looking for a guy that like wasn't even part of the mission. Like they weren't even there to do that. And I'm like, wow. They could have done so much cool stuff, like in the forest, them trying to find the mansion. Like that's what the game should have been, and they just effed it up. It's so bad. They have like a singing leech guy, and you know how it goes. It's like what?
Yeah. Hell? Can't wait. It's been probably 15 years since I played that game, if not more.
All right. Last but not least, corrections. Do we have any corrections from last week?
I have one correction from last week. I said that Nintendo's going to make a Metroid game, unnamed Metroid game, where you play through it and you think you're Samus the whole time, but then you take off the armor and it's actually Simon Belmont. It's actually not Simon Belmont. It's going to be Solid Snake.
Ooh, twist. Big twist.
It's
Solid Snake?
But then Solid Snake takes off his mask and it's Hideo Kojima.
Or, let me throw a scenario out. Final boss fight is, what is his name? The dude with the gas mask.
Psycho Mantis.
Psycho Mantis, right? Has all these powers, fights with Dracula. You take him down, you pull the mask off, and it's Big Boss the entire time.
Yeah.
Big Boss is Psycho Mantis.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an ultimate twist. Like Psycho Mantis working with Dracula, you have like hallucinations and all kinds of things, hallucinations and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Konami needs to. Okay, let me step on my Konami soapbox once. Since I haven't this episode, Konami has so many freaking awesome IPs that they could do something with. Can you imagine a mashup between their like Metal Gear, Castlevania, Metal Gear, Castlevania? I'm just kidding. That'd be awesome though. Those two together.
Metal Mania.
Metal, yes.
Metalvania.
Metalvania.
It's just like, I don't know, like Konami's mindset is that we're gonna buy stuff anyway. Look, I bought the damn cards from Metal Gear Solid. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they know that their promotional stuff, like their T-shirts, like, dude, they just went Castlevania crazy on their website. I thought you would probably be on there buying everything.
Konami
Everything.
makes me mad, so they aren't getting my money currently.
And it's just, I think they should be like this. They should just be the business, and then they give developers the rights to do their stuff, to build it for them. Get Kogarachi the freaking. I'm sorry, my horrible talking, but like, he could do this stuff. Like, hey, listen, you take Castlevania, all right, Hideo Kojima, go do your Metal Gear stuff, and we'll meet back in the middle.
Yeah,
and they'll make money off of it, and they get the money up front anyway, so it's not like a big deal or anything like that. It's just Konami's just lost their way. It's sad. I love all their games from the NES era too.
Yep.
We're not gonna lie on a sad note, but thank you guys for hanging out with us for season 1. That is pretty awesome. Season 2 is going to be pretty epic. We also have a cool intro in the mindsets for season 3, which, by the way,
yeah, we're already thinking about season 3.
I gave a taste to Zach, and he said he literally died on the floor laughing about it. So I think we're going in the right direction.
Awesome.
But I appreciate you guys watching the show. Last week's show was the highest rated show we've had. So thanks to the nudge from Ryan for hooking us up with some new viewers. You can follow me on GI Gamer 1981 on Instagram. Bart, you got anything you like to plug?
Yeah, if you want to follow me, the stuff that I actually upload for my book and stuff like that is on Facebook under the Video Game Collector's Field Guide.
It's a great book, and his Kickstarter just finished. He conquered what he wanted to do. Now, if you want it, you're going to have to be like Mr. Krabs. You're going to have to pay some money on premium edition.
You're going to have to wait. That's right. You should have got in on the bottom floor.
Man.
Now you got to wait.
Yep. Also, one last thing I have to ask you. This is really funny. Last question to leave you on. Are you going to buy the glow-in-the-dark analog pocket?
This is the first time I'm learning of the glow-in-the-dark analog pocket.
September 1st, they're doing a glow-in-the-dark analog pocket. I
feel
like
good.
They came into my house, and it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad right now. It makes me so mad. I am the glow-in-the-dark guy, and I'm like, I'm not buying another one, but damn it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It's a bright green. It has a light inside to make sure it glows for 8 hours straight.
I can't think of another console that's ever been glow in the dark. I don't think that's ever been done before.
No. And I am absolutely jealous. You should go look at it after you're done here. But
yeah.
Listen, if anyone wants to trade for mine for a glow in the dark one, holler at your boy, because I will definitely. I'll put some extra money on top of it too. I just don't want. I'll even open it for you if you like. Nudge, nudge, wink, smile, nod.
Yeah.
Legally, of course. But thank you guys. We'll see you next week for episode 2 of season 2. 222. Be a good time.
222.
Later. Remember.
Later.
Collect, open, and play your games. COP. Be a cop. Open your stuff. Don't treat it like it's a stock. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.